It's time to meet the players. Time to welcome home your number one son, the Czech number one, Karel Sedlacek. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is from England, Diamond Ian White!
And I decided quickly, yes I did, to just go down and check out the show. Yeah, they were dancing and singing and moving to the grooving, and just when it hit me, somebody turned around and shouted, play that funky music, white boy. Play that funky music right. Play that funky music, white boy. Lay down the boogie and play that funky music till you die. Till you die? Yeah. Oh, till you die. Gonna play some
Ian Diamond White, a man who was embarked this year on one of the greatest Euro Tour results we have ever seen in a 7-year history of this phenomenal tour of professional darts. 4 tournaments in a row he made the final. He won 2 of them. He beat Michael van Gerwen in 1 of them. Those 2 titles, his only 2 of the year so far. Ian White, he can do it on the stage, but can he do it on the floor? That's the question we end up asking ourselves. But it all began after a shock defeat at the German Darts Grand Prix at the hands of this man, Karel Sedlacek, the one remaining player from the Czech Republic in the inaugural Czech Darts Open. He is looking to do the double over the diamond and book his place in the final day of a European Tour for the 2nd time. He will have the support of the crowd, of that there is no doubt. But will he be aided by the misses at double that Ian White produced in their last meeting? 32 missed darts at double, just 11% on his doubles as he went down 6-4. Surely that cannot happen again, Paul Nicholson.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, first leg in to throw first. Game on!
Well, you would think not. But then again, this is the Euro Tour. It's a Saturday afternoon and anything can happen. And we've seen plenty this afternoon already. But it's a different Ian White
99.
that we have now compared to what it was like earlier in the season. He's a multiple European Tour winner, 3 of them in total now in a year. I love what you said though. Can he do it on the floor?
Wow.
I mean, I didn't think we'd ever see that.
Seems the natural question. Ian White is just one of those big stage players, isn't he? That's the thing. Well, Karel Sedlacek saw off Brendan Dolan in the opening round, needed a last leg decider to do it. But it's not as if those 4 runs on the Euro Tour for Ian White were all plain sailing. He had to survive match darts in his opening game. Well, he's always doing it this year. So he would absolutely love, A, some revenge, and B, just a nice game where he's not going through any stress. But he's already made a counting error because he's hit a 140 to leave 166, which isn't punished by Sedlacek, but he could have left a finish.
There's Team Sedlacek.
That is, that's a little mini Carol, isn't it? I'm not sure what her name is.
Fine job on the approach play from the number 2 seed. It was, of course, the number 1 seed in the Danish Darts Open,
40.
which was won by Chizzy.
You require 32.
He's back to number 2 because MVG has chosen to play in this event. We'll see him later on this evening.
Ian. There we go. Well, 1 out of 3 on his doubles. That's 3 times as good as it was last time he played Carroll.
It's a nice improvement. I've got to say one thing, Dan. Yesterday there were 4 games with host nation qualifiers playing, and there's very little whistling and booing and hissing and all that nonsense. One shot in particular where 130 checkout was done by Ron Meulenkamp, and you could hear a flake of salt fall on a chip. There was no noise at all. This crowd has been brilliant. They've had a fabulous time so far, and they've been treated to some dramatic stuff.
Yeah, dramatic's the word, isn't it? I don't think the quality is as good as until yesterday, but that might be changing with the arrival of the number 2 seed and Stokes number 1, Ian White. You've got some quality darts merch that you've produced today as well, haven't you? Carroll Sedlacek related darts merch.
Yeah, I went into the practice room about an hour ago just to touch base with a couple of people and bumped into my favourite Czech player, and he said, I have a present for you. And at that point, you think, I just wonder what it could be. And it happened to be a Sedlacek energy drink, which is 100% strong. So I'm not really one for energy drinks, but this one frightens me a little bit.
It's the slogan, apparently, having Google translated it, says, give yourself some evil Charlie, which is an interesting slogan. That's a great setup shot again from Ian White. Now listen to the noise if this goes. He's got a chance. Come on, Carroll, you know what you want. 68 left.
That's why you went the 18 route, right?
Yeah.
It's having one of those conflabs with the referee that you just think, well, at which point can I start laughing? Summoning up the strength for a single 18. That is possibly the worst dart he has thrown.
Oh my.
In the last couple of years. I mean, that was so far away from the 18.
And the first one was so good. And oh, what's he done here?
I think he's had a bit of a mind scramble there.
Yeah. Too much energy drink for young Carroll.
Oh, what was I saying about the crowd? They've definitely got involved in that one. And
where's he going here?
43
he wanted, apparently, so that will do. And it was just a hold throw, Carroll. So, and there's all sorts going on here.
I think the heat is having an effect on everybody. That's all I'm saying. Because, like I said, in the last game, it has been measured at over 50 degrees on stage. It's messing with the players' minds. It will mess with your palms as well. Certain players will have sweaty brows, have sweaty palms. Some players even have swollen hands when it gets a bit hot. But that's something you can acclimatise to in the practice room, because it is fairly toasty in there as well. And Ian White, with his experience of playing on hot stages, particularly this year, I think he'd be all right to cope with this.
Well, he should be, shouldn't he? And look, yes, he's missed 5 darts at double already in this. So, to be honest, he is on for breaking his record of 32 missed darts at double. But the scoring's been good. He looks calm. This crowd's doing their best to lift their man, though.
And why wouldn't it? This is the first opportunity they've had to cheer on their own players in their country. And it's just part and parcel of the game. It's something that has definitely helped Max Hopp and Martin Schindler and Gabriel Clemens and lots of other people in Germany. It's helped the Dutch players in the Netherlands over the years. The Czech players are getting home advantage this weekend.
Curiously, I'm not sure how long for, but I think this is the first Euro Tour for at least a couple of years where we've not had a single German player involved. with Ian White. Once double top, missed 3 in the last leg at it. Does not miss this time around.
He has been getting the rough end of the stick, though, hasn't he, Ian White? He's had a lot of games this season where he has been on the wrong end of the crowd. Oh, Eagle Charlie's on the right side of that one. I think sensibly Ian waits for the crowd to stop chanting before he approaches the hockey, but they've started again.
Not going to stop, you just got to get on with it. But Ian White went in to the Dutch player's own backyard and beat 3 of them in the final day in front of a pretty hostile crowd, including the best player in the world in the final. So he can handle it.
Echoes of Denmark when Johnny Clayton played against Pearl Larson in an atmosphere that I'll never forget. A game I'll never forget. If we get 50% of that, we're in for a treat in the next few legs. He's in again. The action of Sedlacek it's quite pushy. It's not a pure throw like Ian White's. It's all forward motion and a fluid follow through. Sedlacek sets the dart in front of his dominant eye and pushes it forward. Unsuccessfully there. Not the best leave.
Yeah, that's hurt him. To be honest, he was better off if he'd thrown the last dart on the floor. Especially now.
Yeah, a lot of people go 19s for 99, but that'll do. Double 16.
67.
And Ian White ready to pounce.
Looking at the 19s. Because you hit the 7, you still got a shot. That's the reason you go there. And he's rushed that last dart.
Carroll will require 32. In showing a full play. Carroll Sedlacek. 5th leg, Ian to throw first.
That guy looks like Harry Ward. Two. And all these guys are about to have another classic. This is getting very, very partisan in here. Incredibly vociferous. And look at Carroll Sedlacek. He's not bothered.
Well, and look,
44.
yes, they're getting very noisy. You're getting some booing, you're getting some whistling. But to be honest, it's kind of that wall of noise. It's not the worst one where it's sudden ones and they're about to throw.
125.
It's a bit like the Emperor trying to say that the crowd should be quiet when the challenger comes into the Coliseum.
Look, they're here because they want to watch PDC darts, but if they can have one of their own, go and really challenge some of the best in the world, they'll be making a racket about it.
I used to dig atmospheres like this.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I absolutely loved it because better to create an atmosphere than have nothing at all, and that's atmospheric, all right. Not enough to get to a finish. Ian White still has control. This will keep them quiet. That'll do.
91.
Well, leaves the 60. Ian White. Clear 10 points ahead of Carroll Sedlacek and the averages. He is playing better, but can he finish?
Top left corner. Lethal. Exactly what he needed.
Carroll to throw first. Game on.
Have you noticed the dart shirt for Sedlacek?
Not especially, no.
At the front, he's got a picture of himself and his good lady on it.
Oh. Wow. It's commitment for you, isn't it?
You can imagine the conversation with your other half. Oh, I'm going to get an image of me and you on there. Imagine if she said, well, we're not quite there yet.
That's, well.
100.
Sure, he'll make use of that shirt for many, many seasons and years to come, but I can think of plenty of people who would have to be changing them on a regular basis. As Ian White puts in his first maximum.
Oh, isn't it lovely? That's worthy of a Valentine's Day card, that shirt.
134.
Playing well in this leg, Sedlacek, but Ian White is playing much better.
66.
What's a miss on the last dart?
He seems to be playing a little bit quicker than he normally does, Ian White, and I think part of that is that he thinks, I get through these visits, it gives the crowd less time to get on my back. Now, he's so good that he's still clicking along at 100 average here. But whether it's the best tactic or not, I do not know. Double 18 is the tactic now.
97.
Well, Sedlacek now needs
124.
something special. He's not going to get there, and Ian White has the decision to make.
Ian, you require
Does he
18.
split? He does. 10 for double 4. Great
Ian
shot.
showing the 6 round.
Only just
Ian
makes it.
White.
It's teetering with double 18, but it had
Ian
enough
to
power.
throw first.
Well, you can tell as well, there were evidently some nerves for Sedlacek in the opening leg where the second leg, sorry, we had no idea what he was supposed to be going for, even though it was a pretty straightforward shot. None of that now. He's just settled into a rhythm, and he's actually playing all right. He's averaging in the 90s here. But Ian White is putting in a very Ian White display in the high 90s, which is what he's been doing all year. And one of the top performers in the world. And he's got a little bit of breathing space. But this crowd, and the way that Sedlacek is playing, he is not going to be allowed much more than that unless he really turns it on.
Well, that's the kind of performance that we're getting on a more regular basis from Karel over the course of the last 6 months. He's hovering around that 90-ish mark all the time. He's becoming more consistent. In order for him to take the next step and potentially be a full-time professional, he may need to find 5 more. You need to hover around that 95 to trouble people on a more regular basis.
40.
Just the 40, a slip. Can the Czech take advantage?
100.
He can. Big deep breath from Ian White. He knows there's a crucial passage of play.
Plenty of power, and another one of those.
140.
That's enough.
Currently require 161.
Oh, it's another great setup shot from Ian White. It's given him a real chance of 5-2, but that applies the pressure. May need the bullseye here, the number 2 seed. Oh my, might not get anything at all.
Yeah, I think he was in 2 minds there, whether to go for the 54 or the 42. As a result, he didn't get either. Sedlacek needs 12s to get within 1. Crowd engaged and still involved. But as is Karel.
For the first time in this game, Ian White's throw is broken. We said at the start of this, yes, he wanted revenge, but more important than that, he wanted a nice, stress-free first game on the Euro Tour. He has not had one at all this year. They've all been struggles. Sometimes he's played brilliantly, sometimes it's been pretty average, but they've been tight and they've been close and they've been chances for him to be beaten.
36.
We might see another one here.
I'm trying to think of the last time Ian White had a stress-free game in round 2. I think it was in Riesa after that win in Maastricht.
41.
I think his next game he absolutely walloped somebody. I can't think off the top of my head.
Well, Jamie Hughes took him to a last leg decider in the German Darts Championship. He lost his opening game in Leverkusen.
100.
It was Karel Sedlacek who beat him in the German Darts Grand Prix.
140.
Jeffrey Desvani managed to see off 6-3 in Saarbrücken, but it wasn't as straightforward as you might have expected.
That's true. And this is far from straightforward. Ian White needs another treble just to stay with Karol Sedlacek.
137.
The averages are coming together. That's because Karol Sedlacek is moving through the gears. It's a fabulous leg of darts.
I was speaking to Pavel Korda this morning, one of our Czech MCs, and asking him about Karol Sedlacek, and he said he's the kind of person who gets a lot from playing in front of his own country. He gets inspiration. He's going to need some more of it now. He needs double 10 for 4 each.
It's a wild one. Can he rescue it? One dart. Biggest moment in the game, this.
75. And you require 48.
Well, Ian White deserves every bit of credit for giving himself this opportunity. Double top. Oh, that's steely stuff from Diamond White.
Ninth leg.
He had the crowd against him. The chances were missed. He gave himself the opportunity, and boy, is he taking that. That's brilliant.
Nerveless stuff from the Diamond. It's one of those where you're not really sure what double he wanted. He threw at the 8 and the 6 to give himself options. It's the safe dart, but there'll have been something in the back of his mind telling him, I prefer one than the other.
77.
But that's a great response. He's gone 180, 48 out, 177. Just when Karol Sedlacek was coming right at him, the crowd were with him. This is what the top players are able to do.
I think he was going for the 16, you know.
I think he might have been.
But that's the beautiful thing about 16 and 8.
That's why it's
10
the
or a
same
6.
shot.
100.
Yeah, go for the middle way. Don't do what happened yesterday, where one of the home nation qualifiers, it was Plavacek last night. He needed a 10 or a 6, and he hit a 15.
Yeah.
Go high on the 10. Guarantee a shot.
There are sensible ways to go for certain shots. And look at this. These guys were both struggling to finish when they met at the German Darts Grand Prix. Here, they've been pretty solid, and it's been by far a better game. The standard's been good. Sedlacek's average has risen to 96. This is the best we've seen from him, and he may not be done yet.
99.
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
To leave 128, that's so much harder than 127. He probably should have gone to the 17s.
124 is makeable. It's still makeable.
99.
I can't say anything about the crowd there. He gave him the best of order on that bullseye. This is hard. No bull shot to save his skin, and it's all in the hands of Diamond now.
And you require 25.
Revenge is a dish best served cold, but it's red hot here in Prague. And Ian White has not taken it just yet.
That was a poor dart, Dan. That was wide on the 2 as well. It was nowhere near the middle. Possibly the worst dart he's thrown in the match, but one dart to save yourself. And he's done it! Oh, the excitement continues! Do not leave this. This could get really interesting.
On more than one occasion this year, Ian White has survived match darts at this stage of a Euro Tour. And he has gone on to do special things in those tournaments.
So does that mean if Karol Sedlacek survives match darts, he's going to go win this?
Well, it may just be that after having a little bit of fortune that has given him the opportunities to produce excellence, maybe the chickens are coming home to roost for Ian White, and it could be his turn to miss darts and go out. There is a real danger of it here.
Well, someone's missed an opportunity for the official PDC fan this weekend. But the heat has been turned up on the hockey. Sedlacek should have started on the 19s on that visit. He's made a mistake. And Ian White, if he's seen that, he'll smell blood.
Set-up shots have been good from Ian White in this match. He's doing it again. World class from the diamond. Another fabulous set-up shot from Ian White. He messed up the 81 last time around.
57.
Surely he will not make the same mistake. Can he close it out the diamond?
I think he's going bull here. Once tops. This time he only has the option of 16. Gets to 16. Match start coming in to finish it off.
41.
Now, if Sedlacek gets this, we might not have a roof on this place. Oh boy. Oh boy. Great try. But that may be that.
They require 40.
The diamond does it and shakes the hand of Karol Sedlacek. What a test he was given by Evil Charlie. The crowd made it difficult for him, and he's fired up as the number 2 seed. 101 average from Ian White. 95 from Karol Sedlacek, doing his home country proud in the inaugural Czech Darts Open, but it is the diamond who's through to the final day. He'll take on Andrew Gilding for a spot in the quarter-finals.
What about that? Well, Karol Sedlacek, ladies and gentlemen, the Czech number 1. Commiserations, but what a great fight. What a great player. Fantastic. In front of his own crowd, fantastic. Let's have a couple of words with the winner. Not easy playing against the partisan crowd and their Czech number 1.
No, it's the same as the other week when I played Michael van Gerwen, you know, against the Dutch crowd, and I knew I was going to get a bit of stick. But I think the whistling, I think you're pathetic.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Yeah, it's a difficult one. But the next match, you're up against Andrew Gilding. Any thoughts on that?
Happy day.
Happy days.
Andrew Gilding.
Well done. All the very best. That winner, ladies and gentlemen, Ian White.